Welcome back, everybody, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSports. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molitor, and happy baseball day.
Happy baseball day. I will bet a lot more baseball than you think this year. I tail people. I bet baseball almost every day through like the All-Star break last year. I'll probably do the same thing again to this year. I enjoy especially some people who do some prop betting. If you're going to give me some decent strikeout props, hit props, home run props. Also, I was digging around for something and I found just like there's so many awful, just stupid markets. As I made fun of the running back markets yesterday, there's like which team will score the most runs? Will a team score 19 or more runs? Just like I kind of want to look at these now. I kind of want to see if this price is like way off. Obviously, you're not getting a good price for most of that, but I did bet the Houston Astros to score the most runs today.
That's fun.
Um, because one of the chats was talking about some batting practice quotes from a team that they said, "Hey, maybe the old ball is back." They think that at least somebody thought the juice ball might be back. Which then I'm like, well, fuck it. The Astros are good for like 7, 8 home runs. Then just need some guys on base, and suddenly they have 14 runs. So I
Dingers.
did I did play the Astros to score the most runs in any of the games. They couldn't even tell you what the price was. I just sent it to
See if
Cal
I can
to
find
make him
that.
feel better about the start of the season. 15 to 1. 15 to 1. You can bet on the teams to have the most runs, or which game will have the most runs. There's all kinds once you dig in. I think I
The
might.
player to hit the first home run of the season.
I saw that one too. I'm like, how in the world?
Where do you
That
even
used.
start with that?
Well, I
I guess
think
you
it
start with the
probably
1 o'clock games?
you probably look at it has to be like basically if you're going with anything besides the Yankees, Giants, or Atlanta, Washington, you're saying no home runs in those two games whatsoever. I mean, there's some hitters,
Some
and
boppers.
I mean, I know it's March, but man,
It's offshore, Dano.
Right field Yankee Stadium. Oh shit! Here, what? I got a baseball bet. I got a baseball bet. It's a Bet US, Dan. We used to do this all the time. All right, the Atlanta Braves, the Washington Wizard Balls. What is it? Nationals. Wow.
I like the Washington
I
Wizard
almost
balls
said
better.
Bullets. Washington Bullets, like the old basketball team. First five under. Don't care what the price is. First five under 4 runs. It is a day game in Washington, and I just blindly bet all those. It usually turns out halfway decent. So first five under 4. Let's move on to a real sport. Turkish soccer. There's no
You
Super
went
League
deep
in
down
it.
the board.
Well, anyone who uses Flash Score understands it has your favorite competitions, and it's always going to have the EPL and the Bundesliga, Champions League. Like it defaults to set the major tournaments and the major leagues as your favorite. But I have added a few to that, and in favorite competitions today, there's only one, and it is the I don't know how to say one in Turkish. I guess League One, one dot league is how they display it. One period league. And I went with an under here. This is a weird one too. I had to dig into what happened, but I whenever I bet totals because I'm not running XG models. I'm not looking at lineups. I'm not getting deep into this. I just like to degen some soccer. I've had some decent luck, especially in Champions League. But you look at the scores, you look at how many they've given up, what their defense is playing like. You go read like one article, translate with Google, and figure out what's going on. And they won a couple games. If you look, 3-0. Sakaryaspor has, but those games weren't actually played. Those were awarded. Those were, the other team didn't show up, or I actually didn't actually figure out what happened, but those were awarded. That's like the when we talked about the Damar Hamlin game, the Bills game. They said, what happens if they don't play it? Will they just give a team the win? There's precedent for this in other sports. There's precedent in this in college basketball. We had this with COVID, where you'd see the final score of a college basketball game being 2-0 because it just said, oh, the other team forfeited. The final score was 2-0. That's what we did with some of these Sakaryaspor. So they have a ton of games that ended 1-0. They were and honestly, both these teams have had a ton of 1-0 games of late. Both of them do have a lot more goals conceded, but it seems like they kind of got their shit together. A lot of that was early on in the season. So went with an under 2.5. Sakaryaspor, Yupspor, Turkish Unleague. I think this starts at 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern. You should be able to bet this everywhere. This is a major league, guys. So I'm going to turn on flash score notifications. Hopefully, I don't get a single notification until it just says finished, 0-0. That would be super
Turkish
lovely at this point.
unders, huh?
Turkish under's a little dangerous, but it's not in the big league. It is in the smaller league. A little bit of an earlier match as well. And good job to you yesterday with a. I mean, it went to a tie break, but it felt like she was in control of the match. A nice little winner down in Mexico, and then Miami didn't happen so much again. The weather is not being kind to sports in general this week. I think that'll continue with baseball. We'll probably have some rain, snow, ice, cold outs, but not only golf is having some issues with fog right now, but Miami has been kind of struggle bus to get this tournament finished up. Are they? I want an opinion before we talk about the bets you already have. Are they going to push the women's final back, or are they going to fuck somebody?
As always with tennis, we're not really sure. And if you're a little
Yeah.
confused by Andy's questioning, I mean, they had already split up the last couple matches. So there was supposed to be two yesterday. I guess there's supposed to be two yesterday, and then they're supposed to play today. So the way it goes, folks, the match that we were supposed to bet last night, as Andy so keenly pointed out before we talked about tennis yesterday, was rained out. So Alexandrova Kvitova is today. The winner of that is supposed to play in the semifinals. The first semifinal is tonight, and I'm not sure if they're going to make these players play two matches today. You know, the winner of this Alexandrova Kvitova match, or if they'll maybe cut them a break, let them play tomorrow, and play the women's final on Saturday. So I don't know if they'll figure something like that out. But as always with tennis, I expect it to be whatever the stupidest possible option is.
Yeah. What's the worst case scenario for everyone involved? That's what they'll go with. So hopefully nobody gets too screwed over. It's been fun. Kirstea just reign of terror. Like didn't really see this coming, but she dropped a set. She just straight setted Sabalenka, and granted, that's I mean, considering maybe a little bit of fatigue or just how what part of the season we're in, maybe give her a little bit of a break, but it's still a really nice win, and this could be a really fun final yet.
It's one of the most impressive runs literally any player has had on tour this year. Beats Garcia, beats Mahova, beats Vondrasova, beats Sabalenka. You're talking about, four of the amongst the favorites to win this tournament. I mean,
Yeah.
Sabalenka probably would have been your second favorite. Vondrasova was a top 5 favorite. Mahova was an underdog. Everybody bet Garcia is a top 5 to 10 favorite every single match. And just plowing through the field here. I mean, Vondrasova got her to a tiebreak in the first match, but it has really been a lot of fun. So she gets a player, the winner of the match that we talked about yesterday. And again, double check your accounts. You probably have these bets already in, but same thing I talked about yesterday. I'm excited for this Alexandrova Kvitova match, whenever they do play it, because it should be a great opportunity for some of these set overs, and especially in the first. It's just a tailor-made matchup for a 7-5, 7-6. So took the 9.5, took the 10.5, the 12.5, and as I mentioned yesterday, if this match does happen, which it looks like the weather should clear up about 30, 40 minutes or so before they're supposed to be on court. Fingers crossed, people. I'll be watching live and taking some set over. So should be again a really good match. I'm expecting two very long sets here. We'll see if they get to 3, but yeah, stack up your set overs. We'll start in the first.
Hey, say Alexandrova's first name for me.
Ekaterina.
Ekaterina. I can never nail that one. Ekaterina. Okay, thank you.
Ekaterina.
The other one's easy.
In there.
I can say Petra. I knew a Petra growing up. I can say Petra all day. Speaking of stupid names, well, Joel's not a bad name, but Nikola and Giannis, those aren't normal. That's what happens when the league goes international. That's the fun part. Basketball is an international sport nowadays, guys, and we have a 3-way race. I think some people have made some decent cases for Giannis. What's your thought? I tried to keep up with the NBA chat a little this morning. Not many games left, and there's a lot of talk in the and there's some smart people. I don't want to discount what they're saying, but is there that much juice to be added to like what they do in the last final games? It's an award for your your season as an MVP. And I know recency bias and the spotlight is on it now, but is it really going to come down to what happens in the last few days for this MVP race?
It might. It's certainly a situation where if Giannis comes through and has triple doubles in his last couple games, or puts up a 50 burger on one of these guys, like it is. I mean, this is human beings. Human beings are voting based on how they feel, and everyone's going to remember what just happened. And now everyone, because this award somehow became politicized and has become just the most talked about thing. I'm honestly kind of sick of hearing people talk about it, but I think it comes down to those two guys there at the top. It's going to be Embiid, Jokic, 1, 2. Tim Bontemps does a straw poll basically of all the award voters, and it came out pretty much 50-50. Now, again, not that Giannis can't win it, but it would be pretty surprising, I think, for him to overcome either one of these guys. And Jokic just started to play a little better. I know everyone's upset Embiid didn't play in Denver the other night, but, what are you going to do? It's just a tough schedule spot for him. And the Sixers did the right thing. We need him healthy for the playoffs. I'm happy to lose a game in Denver. So we'll see. I think these numbers are pretty good. I think, again, it's most likely one of those first two guys. But to your question, I mean, if Giannis comes out here, the Bucks win all the rest of their games. He has a couple triple doubles, puts up a big performance against Denver and Philadelphia. Then we've seen much stupider things.
Yeah. All right. You look down at your phone. Your phone bings, and you look, and it says Andy has just Venmoed you $125. I don't know why I picked a weird amount like that. You have to place it on one of these three. I know what I would do. I would just go Giannis because you've talked me into it that it has a chance. I know maybe that's a bad. It is the most fun bet. I think honestly I would bet Embiid.
I think I would too. It's when the rubber meets the road, these voters really have to consider whether or not they're going to make Nikola Jokic the fourth player in NBA history to win 3 consecutive MVPs. I think that's going to cause a lot of people to bump him to 2 and Embiid 1. I think it's going to be close, but knock on wood, I think Embiid will be the MVP and hopefully one of the few MVPs to actually win a title.
Ooh, over the Nuggets too. Remember that?
Sixers over Nuggets, baby.
Sixers over Nuggets. That's not that far out of the realm of possibilities, guys. That's probably, I mean, looking at it now, I bet if you go look at exact matchups or exact finals matchups, it's not that far down the board, guys. So let's go Sixers all year long, and let's go Nuggets at least through the West. And then just not much tonight in the way of NBA slate, though.
It looks like the NBA is going to be polite to the NCAA, and we've got 2 games tonight, 100 games tomorrow night. Only, I think, 2 games on Saturday and a bunch of games on Sunday. So just 2 games tonight. No edges for me, but quickly touch on it. Both should be fun games to watch. The Boston Celtics visit the aforementioned Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks 2.5-point favorites here. Curious to see if Middleton's going to play tonight. If he does, I like the spot for the Bucks. I think the 2.5 is maybe just a touch light, but need Middleton in at this point, and sort of lean towards the under here. I expect this to have more of a playoff feel, where we should see the pace really slow down in the second half as the game starts to tighten up. But I'm just going to wait and again try to see if I can get a second half under or something like that. So nothing pregame there. And then Pelicans Nuggets. The Nuggets 6-point favorites, 6.5-point favorites, depending on where you look. The total sitting right around 227. Again, all those numbers look pretty good to me. Again, lean towards a bit of an under here, but Jokic generally does very well against this Pelicans team, although he is questionable tonight. So, as always, got to wait for the injury report to see who's actually playing. I'd expect Jokic to play tonight against this Pelicans team, and if he does, the Nuggets should be able to take care of business. But if it looks like he's going to be out, lean towards the under here. The Nuggets are obviously much worse offensively without Jokic on the floor.
Ooh, a little bit of faux pas by Dan. Producer Dan in the chat there. He's trying to correct you, saying they're being polite to baseball, not college basketball by not playing today. Well, Dan, there's a championship game today. No, you were correct, Alex. I'm coming to your
the knit.
Yeah, we got the knit final tonight. I didn't have a strong take on this.
CLV.
Yeah, the smart people, the start. It is the tournament, and it is the
It is an
NCAA.
NCAA
It's
tournament.
an NCAA basketball tournament, Dan.
Basketball NCAA
Yeah,
knit.
the way I said Dan there. I have a little bit of
Dan.
UAB -2. I think that's starting to get juiced out. If you like that, I think you want to get it now. If you like the other side, North Texas, you might want to take it.
You wait.
Honestly, at halftime, Christ, they're a pretty good second half team. They played some tough defense against the garbage Big Ten team, but yeah, maybe take a look at that if you want North Texas. Maybe wait on later. I think you're starting to see more UAB steam. I have, like I said, a small bet on that, and then I'm waiting for golf to restart. I'm not sure. Maybe it's going again. This whole deal with the fog, this Texas fog. Apparently, Texas fog is a thing. By the way,
Get
like
some helicopters, blow that shit out of
I
there.
don't associate that, but the way the weather is down there, so they delayed it, they started it, then they stopped it, and then they said they're restarting at 9:45 a.m. Central. I didn't actually put it on the TV yet, so I'm not super sure if they actually got going yet. I can pull the scoreboard up. I only played the one matchup, but it was one of the guys who went off in the very first group, Scott Piercy, who it still looks like we are stopped, although he is 2 under through two. Maybe that's why they stopped the tournament. We can't have Scott Piercy shooting a 58 today. So something must be done about this guy. Scott Piercy is a 44-year-old. That's who I gambled on this week as far as my matchups. That's how little I think of Charlie Hoffman. I said I will lay -120 with a guy who's just hanging on at this point. So let's go Scott Piercy. Kick Rocks, Charlie Hoffman, and let's go Akshay Bhatia to win it all at a big number. And we'll catch you guys here tomorrow for some Friday fun time.